To represent our y is equal mx plus b four ways, numerically, algebraically, verbally, and graphically. So we're going to be learning how to do all of these four in one.
One. Like
Yeah.
merge all.
Yep.
But that's just saying it's
So-
too hard.
The lesson, like I was telling my period one class, these word problems are not as cool or fun as the ones I write or make up because they're not very personable or they do not relate to you at all.
Yeah, they
This one's gonna be talking about snail. So I don't know if you guys like snails.
don't. I went to try one. I just saw this now.
So this table of values shows the height compared to the ground of a snail as it crawls up a pipe
Why is it kind of like that?
because it's trying to get up to the I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't know. I didn't make up this question.
Okay.
So this is an example of using numbers to describe a relation. So this is our table of values. And then we want to come up with an equation, use a graph, and use our words. So how am I going to find an equation for this table of values? What's the first thing I have to do? How do I usually write my equation of a line? John?
You do like y equals mx plus b.
Okay. So based off our table of values, what is the one thing that we know for sure? Sean again.
You know your b.
Is what?
It's 0 and -3.
Okay. Okay. And how do I find my m? Who remembers? How do I find my m? Maya. Yep. Or change in y over change in x. All right. So we need to figure out our changes in y, which means we need to figure out how much up or down my y values are going in. So if we look at our y values, so if you look at our height, so our height is our y, what is the pattern that you notice with the height?
It's increasing.
By
4.
4.
Yeah.
And the way you do that is you do the first differences. So 13 minus 9 is 4. 9 minus 5 is 4. 5 minus 1 is 4. And 1 minus -3 is positive 4. So my changes in y are 4. Now, my changes in x, we usually have them as 1, but in this case, the graph is going up by a different scale. So what's my change in x? What are my x's increasing by? John? 3. So now I know that my slope is m is equal to 4 over 3. I know my b is -3. So who can tell me what my equation is going to be? Maya?
Y equals 4 over 3x plus -3.
Yep, plus -3 or -3, doesn't matter.
Wait.
You can use -3 because my b is minus. Or plus -3.
Yeah, I did that on the quiz. First question. Maybe
Yeah, I messed that one up.
-3.
Yeah, I have to fix it.
Got my marks for it. Thank you.
So, for the second one, which is the third question here, what is the easiest way I can graph this? What can I use to graph this? Matthew.
What are those called again? Are the lines, the negative numbers you can like put on a chart?
So my axis?
Yeah.
Okay. How can I graph my points using something in this question? What is already given to me?
X.
Maya?
Y.
Okay. What else is given to me? David? Okay, close. It's been given to me since the beginning. Mia?
Change.
Close.
Run.
X.
No.
The rise of run? Like I'm B.
No. How can I graph this? What the hell do I have here?
Like fraction.
Your y intercept.
Your chart.
I have my table of values, so I can use to graph. That's the easiest way you can graph this is using the table of values.
I think my numbers go up for a second.
No. So the table of values is the easiest way to graph because you have your x and your y, and some of you were saying that already, except you didn't mention it as a whole. So as you can see, my first point is going to be what? 0 and -3. So that's going to be my first point. So I'm going to draw my axis.
on. Why are you so loud?
Is that coffee?
I was drinking water.
Oh.
Water.
I used to drink a lot of coffee.
Coffee butt cheeks.
Okay, so like I said, my first point is 0, -3, which is going to be right over here. Can someone tell me what my next point is using the table of values on your sheet? Matthew?
3 and 1.
Perfect. 3 and 1. Someone else next. Austin?
6 and 5.
Perfect. 6 and 5. Okay, David, what's the next one after 6 and 5? 9, 9. And then I don't have enough space for the other one, so that's fine. So this is what my linear relation looks like. And that's how you would graph it. Whenever you have a table of values and a question asks you to graph it, just graph it using your table of values. So let's see how creative you guys are, because I'm very creative with my word problems. Now you guys are going to use words to describe this scenario. Remember, a snail is trying to get up a pipe. Let's see who's creative. We can come up with a creative word problem. Matthew.
Snail is trying to get to its food. It's going to climb up a pipe that is X long or X tall.
Okay, close. You're missing some information, but that's pretty good. That's a good start. Anyone else want to try? No?
You gotta figure out how fast it climbs up.
So let's say Sean loses a snail.
Sean Snail, not Sean Snake. Sean Snail.
Sean loses his snail down a pipe.
Oh no, he dropped down the sink.
He dropped it down the sink.
Sean, you get a responsible pet owner.
Yeah.
He loses his snail down the sink. The trap of the sink is 3 centimeters below the ground.
That's it. Is this on the first line?
The snail.
Or is this in the basement?
And what is it? What is the snail do? Slither?
I don't know.
Slither down.
Lizard?
What does the snail do?
It just
walk,
moves.
it just-
It doesn't walk.
Snake.
It just
That's a
moves.
snake.
Yeah,
What is
like
the snail
like
do?
you, Sean.
It moves slow. It moves
So,
slow.
so the trap of the sink. Sorry, the trap of the sink is 3 centimeters below.
People do need to know that.
It's really bad.
Is 3 centimeters below the sink, and the snail.
Like the texture is so bad.
Sean loses. I thought they said it loses.
It's like
losses.
it's like eating an octopus.
And the snail climbs up
Loses
at a rate
Yes.
of 4/3 centimeters per. What's my time? Is it in minutes or seconds?
Minutes.
Actually, yeah, they don't taste like anything.
There.
L-O-S-E-S, not L-O-S.
Loses.
Yeah, loses. It's not, it doesn't look like
Did I write losses or loses?
You wrote losses.
So I didn't take
Loses
this.
has only one.
Shh.
You
Okay,
know
thank
how
you.
to spell.
No, I don't. I
There
don't.
you go. There you go.
Really don't. I lost this grade 4 spelling bee contest because I didn't know what there. I didn't know what the definition. I didn't know how to spell the possessive there.
There.
I spelled it THERE instead of THIER. I lost.
There's no other way to say it
Is
though.
that E-I-R?
EIR. Sorry.
There.
I didn't know there, but I just didn't
Yo, what's the
They kind of screwed you over.
They did.
Is this a possessive?
Yeah.
Oh, the THE.
You're not listening.
I spelled it. I spelled it THERE,
This is an English class, it's math class.
and I said it so confidently too. And when you're like you're wrong, I was like, great.
Oh, perfect.
And in terms of like, he's so confident that he doesn't know anything.
the lesson. So this lesson is pretty short. And look, my iPad's cooperating with me today.
Okay, good.
All right. So question 1. We have a linear relation passes through the points 420 and -4 and -5. We want to come up with an equation in y equals mx plus b, and we want to draw the graph. So we have our points 420 and -4 and -5. So we have to use these to help us find our equation, and y is equal to mx plus b. However, are they in order? No? What has to come first?
0.
No, between these 2 points, what has to come first?
Oh,
The
no, the -4,
-4, -5. Because when we read our graph, it's from left to right. So the negative is going to be the most left, and the positive number is going to be to the most right. So our first point is going to be -4 and -5. And our second point is going to be 4 and 20. Or 420. So the first thing we can find, because we don't have a table of values or a graph, we have to find our slope first. So remember, m is equal to the change in y over my change in x. So who can tell me what my first y value is? What's my first one? Maya? Okay, what's my second one? Matthew?
20.
20. So in order to find my change in y, I always take the second part of the, I always take the second point and subtract it from the first one. So it's going to be 20 minus -5. What is my change in x? What is that going to be represented by? Sean?
4 subtract -4.
Yep, 4 subtract -4. Perfect.
Which is really 4 plus 4.
Yeah. So for my numerator, 20 minus -5, what do I get? Austin? Oh, 20 minus -5. 25. Because these two negatives beside each other create a positive, so it's the same thing as saying 20 plus 5. So I should get 25, and Matthew, you already said the second one, which is 8, right?
Yeah.
4 minus -4 is going to be 8. So far what I have is y is equal to 25 over 8x plus b. So I don't have a table of values to figure out my b. So what information can I use to help me figure out what b is going to be?
B is going to be
Maya.
The X more and the 12.
Yeah, so we're going to use any of the 2 points. So which one do you want to work with? Which one?
420.
420? Okay. We're going to work with 420.
And then
You made a noise. So 4 is x and 20 is y. So we're going to plug in 420 for our equation. So 20 is going to be for y. So I'm going to get 20 is equal to 25 minus 8. And since x is 4, I'm going to plug in 4 for x plus b. So since we subbed in 420, now we can calculate everything. So 20 is equal to 25 over 8 times 4 plus b. Don't worry. So what's 25 over 8 times 4? 25 over 8 times 4. What would that give me?
25 over 8.
Or you can ask Siri.
12.5.
100 over 8.
As a fraction.
100 over
12
8.
over 5.
100 over 8? 100 over 8.
They have a
Oh,
calculator.
it's.
Should I simplify it?
Wait, what did
And then it's
Oh.
simplified is
So if I can simplify it, like Maya said, I can simplify it to 25 over 4. 2. Sorry, 25 over 2. So I get 20 is equal to 25 over 2 plus b. Because I can divide each of these guys by 4. So in order to isolate for b, what do I need to do or what has to happen? Because b has to be left by itself. Austin.
25 over 2 to 20.
Yep. So it becomes what?
Minus.
Yep. 20 minus 25 over 2 is equal to b.
Over 1.
Yep, thank you, Matthew. 20 over 1. And as you can see, my denominators are not the same.
This is where you do come up.
So what's my lowest common denominator?
2.
So I have to multiply the first guy by 2. So I get 40 over 2 minus 25 over 2 is equal to b. And what would my value for b become?
15.
15 over?
2.
Yep.
Correct.
So Sean, what's my whole equation now? I have m and b.
Y
Mhm.
equals 25 over 8x.
Yep.
Plus
Mhm.
15 over 2.
Yep, there you go. Perfect. I'm not going to graph this because it's going to require a very large graph. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out so you all can copy. So we're going to do number 3 because it's a word problem. So we have a tank of water has 456 liters of water in it. After 4 minutes, the water level is 400 liters. After 20 minutes, the water level is at 176 liters. I want to write a linear relation for this scenario. So again, I have to figure out y is equal to mx plus b. Just based off reading the problem, do we have any of those pieces of information? Look at the first sentence specifically.
Yeah.
What do we have? What's b?
456.
Yeah.
420.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Matthew.
420.
B is 456.
No,
No, it's not that number right now. So m, I need to figure out my slope. So I can basically write a coordinate with my first piece of information. So if my water has 456 liters when 0 minutes has passed, what is that as a coordinate? How would I write that?
420.
No, not 420 anymore. Laura?
You said it. You said it seriously.
Yep. So at 0 minutes, we have 456 liters. Do we have another point in this question? If so, what is it?
400 maybe?
Nope. What's
No,
my
it's not
next
11.
point in the question?
The wire.
No, we already have our y-intercept.
4 and 400.
4 and 400. Because at 4 minutes, we have 400 liters left. Based off the question, is my rate of change or is my slope going to be positive or negative? Anyone? Matthew? Negative. So remember, my slope is my change in y divided by my change in x. So what is my numerator going to look like besides being a numerator? What is it going to be, Sean?
Pretty sure it's 456. No, 400.
400.
Subtract.
Yep.
456.
What's my change in x, David?
It's 4 minus 0.
Yep, 4 minus 0. Good. Okay, so 400 minus 456 gives me what? Negative 56 divided by 4. So who can tell me what negative 56 divided by 4 gives me?
Negative 14.
Thank you, David.
Good job.
So I have my m and my b.
Negative 14. Isn't it 13?
So Claire, what would my equation be?
Isn't it 13?
I have m and b.
Y equals negative 14x
Mhm.
plus 4.
Yep. There we go. Good. So that's my linear relation. So we're going to answer this first question. When will the water tank be empty? So how am I going to solve for that? When will the water tank be empty? If the water tank is empty, what does that mean about the amount of liters left? 0.
No.
So where am I going to put that 0?
By itself.
For y or for x? Alice? Y. So I'm going to have 0 is equal to negative 14x
And then that chapter goes to-
plus 456. Remember, I have to isolate for x, so what comes after? What's my next step?
Where you're actually x, right?
Mhm. Where do I wanna
the
move it?
456 over to 0.
You want to move the 456 over?
Should be
Dave?
456 minus 0.
Okay, we can do that.
Oh, wait, minus 456 minus
Yeah, we'll
0.
do that. That's fine. So we're going to move the 456 over to the left side, so it becomes what number?
456 is 1.
Positive or negative?
Positive. Or
Negative 456 is equal to negative 14x. So how do I leave x by itself?
Move the negative 14 over and make it a positive.
Pardon? Divided by? Negative 14.
Oh, if I could move it over again.
So what's 456 divided by negative 14? Or negative 456 divided by negative 14?
Oh, no clue.
Give it to one decimal place.
negative 470.
No, divided.
Oh, divided.
Should give you a positive answer.
32 point. Wait, one decimal?
40.
Yep.
32.6.
What'd you get?
32.6.
So what would my therefore statement be? Therefore what? So remember, we're asking, the question is asking, when will the water tank be empty?
The water tank has 32.6.
Remember, x is my time, the amount of minutes. Therefore, it will take how long?
Oh,
My-
it'll take
32 minutes.
Well, wouldn't it be roughly 33 minutes?
Yep.
'Cause if you round, well, technically 6.
But you don't round
Let's
it to
assume
6, so it's literally
6
32
is
minutes.
60 seconds. 60 seconds equals another minute.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be 32
Oh
rounds?
my god.
Yeah, it will be.
You have to think about
Yeah,
that.
it does, but you don't round it situation like.
I'll tell you what to do.
Free time.
So, the next question is going to be, how many liters of water does the tank have at 8 minutes?
Actually, it's really.
So what am I going to do to figure that out?
We're gonna plug 8 into that.
Thank you, Matthew. We're going to plug in 8 into x.
Yes. That was my here. I'll be honest with you.
Can someone tell me what negative 14 times 8 gives me?
That's
Austin?
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, no.
Um,
Maya?
That equals
Negative
negative
112.
Negative 112. David, what's negative 112 plus 456?
That's
344.
no, negative 112.
Plus 456.
I have times 456.
Plus.
Plus.
Mr. Sir,
That equals 344.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think the answer. Sorry, I didn't.
You did?
That's fine.
I didn't even
That's
do
good.
that.
So therefore, at 8 minutes, the tank will have 344 liters left. Yep.
Can I show you my method?
So what I'm gonna do is you guys are gonna do something right now.